So, I actually made it a point this month to pick up a bunch of Volume 1s. And it also probably helped that there were some Volume 1s that I was looking forward to. But, I don't know, there's just something about, you guys get this because you read manga, like trying to discover a new series. Especially when, through the internet or whatever, you've heard good things about these series. So, I decided to pick up the Bugle Call Song of War, Cosmos, A Bride's Story, Dogsred, and Wash It All Away. So let's start off with a series that I was really looking forward to, and I'd actually heard it from Marge Reads Manga on her Instagram. I follow her on Instagram. It's a great Instagram account. She also has a YouTube channel if you want to check her out. But it's Wash It All Away. So I'm a big fan of slice of life stuff. You guys know this. And I just had heard so many good things about it. I'm not going to lie to you. Have you ever been reading a manga, right? And it's like slice of life does this a lot. I heard birds chirping, sun shining. Like, look at this artwork. This is what I'm saying. This artwork kind of gives you, like, you feel like you could be part of a musical. It's the best way I can describe it. It's not a great way to describe it, but it feels like I could be a part of a musical when I was reading this series. Listen, I can't sing, so I'm not going to be part of a musical, but you know what I mean. Like, it just gave me that feeling, and it was a fantastic slice of life. And what I actually really liked about it, because honestly, in these chapters, like, you're kind of just getting introduced to this main character. A few side characters show up. But it's honestly just kind of getting to know her and, like, getting to know her personality. But what I was really surprised about, it seems like that maybe she has a little bit of a dark, tragic backstory. And I think that's what I really enjoyed about it. It was a slice of life, and it has all those tropes that slice of lives have, but it also is like something has happened that us as, like, the readers, we don't know. And the art is really good, and it's just great characters, man. Like, if you're looking for a slice of life story to check out, it's only got one volume out, and I really highly recommend it. I had a great time reading it. And then I read Dogsred. I really didn't know what to expect when I was like, oh, it's like a hockey manga. I don't know anything about hockey, so is it actually going to be for me? And I don't know, I was kind of surprised. So I didn't know what to expect with Dogsred, right? I know it's from the same creator as Golden Kamuy. I haven't read Golden Kamuy. I hear it's good. I've just never read it. So this is my first introduction to their work. And with a story based on, this figure skater who had, like, a breakdown and got kicked out of figure skating. So he goes to a small town and he's like, well, what's this goal on this ice? Hockey? I'm going to do hockey? I really liked it. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you, right? It feels like, at least in this first volume, it's not trying to break any molds of, like, the sports genre. If you've read a sports manga, you probably know what I'm talking about, where, like, the team is down in his luck, but this new person that has strolled into town, I mean, it's not even just manga. Movies have done it. It is the sports tropes. But it executes it so well. Like, you care for Ro, and especially kind of learning about his past, and his sister is there, and that relationship, and the relationship with, I believe it's their mother. Like, learning the backstory of Ro and the people around him, you really immediately care about it in Volume 1, and I think that's very good. But I'm going to be honest with you. Where it shined was towards the end of this volume. Like, towards the end of it, and I guess... Spoiler. Hey, whoa, spoilers. I'm going to kind of spoil something in this first volume. But this is where I really was like, oh, I actually kind of want to see where this goes. During the final game, and, like, just looking at the artwork when he's, like, skating on the hockey puck and, like, bending down. Did you know this creator? Pretty good artist. Probably Golden Kamuy is probably incredible. Here, I'll throw some panels of Golden Kamuy up. I don't know what they look like right now, but I bet he can draw. And it looked incredible, and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, they got beaten at the end of it. But they scored that one goal, and that's what mattered. Like, it was fun, and we've seen this stuff done in sports manga before, but I just think that it brings enough character and enough flavor, especially like that older, hockey coach is like, I only see one person here with potential. Like, it's not breaking any molds, but it definitely seems like it's trying to execute this story really well. And I can't wait for a volume 2. And then I read A Bride's Story. This is a series that I have heard this name so many times. I did not know what to expect from it. You know what? Listen, I just got to say this right now. Her husband is 12 years old. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm not going to lie to you, and I can be... listen, I'm honest with you guys. It took me a minute. It took me a minute, okay? It took me a minute. 12 and she's 20. It took me a minute. I'm not... Listen, did it influence how I felt about it? Maybe. Maybe. Listen, I know I just said this, but it has to be repeated. 12 and 20. I get it. Listen, I get it. In history, these types of arranged marriages and stuff happen, right? It's still tough to get through that age gap. For me, this is a personal thing. For me, it was tough. Still continuously is tough. But I enjoyed the story around it. Like, getting to know this character. And what I really enjoyed about this first volume, because I had heard of this story before, right? Like, A Bride's Story has been brought up time and time again with manga YouTube videos that I've watched. But what I really enjoyed was this character. So the town around them is very kind of like, what's a bow? We can hunt. What is happening? And she just hops on the horse and like goes and gets a rabbit. Like, her being this very capable character is really fun. And especially, once again, I'm getting past the age gap. The age gap? I'm not thinking about it. It's back there. Look how far back it is. We're not thinking about it. But it's still kind of always there. But I kind of like how they're playing with that of, she almost feels like has that older sister relationship with her husband. That is 12. I don't know. Have I? 12. All right. Last time, I promise. But watching the relationship with her and her husband grow, and watching her be this very capable person, and her adopted family that she is kind of married into fight for her when her real family wants to take her back and kind of betroth her to someone else. And watching these dynamics, and again, this volume 1 seemed like it had a lot to set up, but watching these family dynamics and these tribes versus tribes, and just kind of building out this world, got me interested. Now again, in this first volume, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't like put it down and was like, man, yes, volume 2, here we come. But I will say, and this, come here real quick. No, but seriously, you should check out this manga. I love this type of release. More manga should release like this small, compact, hardcover edition. It just feels so high quality, and it looks so good. So please, I'm gonna take this moment in the video. More manga release like this. I would absolutely love it. And then I read another new VizSig title, Cosmos. I had no idea what this manga was going into it. I had just seen these covers around and heard about Cosmos, right? Like, it was kind of a somewhat hype series kind of in this manga YouTube space that I had heard a few people talk about, but didn't really know much going into it. And to come to find out, a very interesting premise to me, alien insurance companies. Like, this idea that aliens live on Earth and there is this intergalactic insurance company that goes around and basically investigates claims. Really interesting premise. Like, not only, the art is a normal for like a Viz title, like, it's nothing too crazy. But having this story of someone stumbling across because he can smell lies, like this, that's our main character's kind of power. So he can smell lies, so they want him to be part of this insurance company. But I can just see the potential. And towards the end of the volume, I'm not going to give any more spoilers really away, but it has to do with like a life insurance policy. And so while some of the other things that they investigate, like, it's kind of some standard stories, that life insurance policy story that happens, it kind of shows you where this type of premise and this type of story can go. And that to me makes it the most interesting, is you can have like a really fun case, but then you can have like a more serious case. It's the same reason that, if you've ever watched like TV shows that have like almost all standalone stuff. X-Files, perfect example, X-Files. I actually really love X-Files, so I get to bring it up. Mulder and Scully. Here, hey, nice. I brought X-Files into a video. This is great. But you can have a kind of fun, goofy story or very serious story, a action-heavy story. Like a premise like this, chapter by chapter, you kind of don't know what story you're going to get. And obviously there's going to be overarching stuff. But just having that ability to tell multiple different like kind of genre type stories is really exciting for me. And if you guys know any other type of manga that's like that, let me know in the comments down below. Please, I really appreciate you guys. Because that is some of my favorite stuff. You take this premise, or you take this group of characters, and you can tell so many different types of stories. And that's what I feel like, or at least I hope, after reading the first volume of Cosmos, happens. Like, because, the idea of someone can smell when someone's not telling the truth, and stuff like that, interesting. My hope for this series, and I hope where it goes going forward, is that they can craft really interesting stories around these characters. And I think by the end of the first volume, if you read it, I hope that you can kind of see that too. Because I really liked that life insurance policy story. Like, I was kind of middle of the road about this series, but then it got to that and I was like, oh, this just became very interesting. I can't wait to see where it goes. So I can't wait to read volume 2. And then finally I read the Bugle Call? Song of War. Is it Bungle? I'm not going to lie to you, when I was reading it, I might have read it as Bugle. The Bugle Call. Is it Bugle or Bungle? Let me know in the comments down below. Bungle sounds right. Bugle is a chip. You know what I'm saying? So Bungle definitely sounds correct. It's probably Bungle. But definitely when I was reading it, I said, oh, the Bugle Call. I think I was thinking it was going to be more like a Vinland Saga, which it does have hints of Vinland Saga in this story, especially some of the scenes are very brutal, right? But towards the end of it, and I guess, again, spoilers, right? You've made it towards the end of this video. I've spoiled a little bit of everything, but I just kind of want to talk about these volume 1s, and this is kind of how I want to set up this video. But towards the end of it, it's very more like high fantasy. Because there's these towers that he has to protect. He's got a bungle. I still don't know how to say it. I believe it's a bungle call that can shoot this line everywhere and kind of guide his troops. He's basically playing an RTS on the battlefield. Really interesting. But I think what I was thinking about was it was going to kind of be a Vinland Saga. And that's one of the things about when you just kind of try to jump into a manga series kind of blind. Sometimes you get pleasantly surprised, and other times you're like, oh, this isn't 100% what I wanted, but the stuff was interesting enough that I will probably read the volume 2 of this, because it does seem like it just had such a heavy lifting of like setting up this world. Because not only did this volume 1 have to set up this entire world, it also had to set up this entire almost other world and like this Bugle Call and all of this magic high fantasy stuff. So it had a lot of jobs to do in this volume 1. So while it did seem kind of slow in parts, towards the end of it, it gave me enough to be like, oh, what's going to happen next? Because I'm not going to give away the biggest spoilers. I will say, out of all of the manga that we have talked about in this video, this is the one that I would like to talk about the end of it, but I'm not going to, because I do think that you should read it. So I'm not going to spoil everything. The most you're going to get, you get the thing, Bugle Call, lines everywhere. Look at these lines, RTS, you know. And I definitely think, kind of me going into it, thinking that it was going to be a Vinland Saga style story, probably didn't do any favors like when I first started reading it. Plus, let me tell you, these chapters are incredibly long. Like, whew, I believe, and I'll put it right here. Actually, I'll throw some B-roll up. Here's some B-roll. I believe the first chapter is like 120 pages. Listen to me. That's a long first chapter. So when I told you they have a lot to set up, they took their time. 120 something pages, I believe that first chapter was. I think the second chapter was like 70, and the third chapter, because there's only 3 chapters in this manga, first volume, 50. I think it gradually got lower, but yeah. So see, proves my point. It had a lot to set up, and so I think that for me, it's gonna have to do my 3 manga volume, where I'll at least give it 3 volumes before I make the decision of like either dropping it or continue to read it. So yeah, those are 5 volume 1s that I read this month. Overall, man, I really enjoyed them. And honestly, I really enjoyed kind of going out of my way and making sure that I read new volume 1 series. Because I can definitely feel like, and I'll speak for myself, and maybe you guys feel the same and stuff, sometimes it's hard for me to jump into a new series because I have a ton to read. So I do have felt like a lot of newer series kind of gets pushed to the side. Like, oh, that's very interesting, I want to check it out. But going into this month and kind of definitely what I was picking up and stuff like that, being like, I'm going to actively try to pick up these volume 1s and test out these series. Because these are series that I haven't read online or I've just heard good things about, and honestly it was a really fun experience. Like, cracking open a manga, not knowing anything about it, just blind reading them, was really fun. Because especially like someone like me that consumes way too much manga content on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. Listen, I consume a lot of manga content. It's kind of hard for me sometimes to go into a series without knowing nothing about it. So making sure that I was like trying to discover these new series, I really had a great time. So you'll probably see more of these videos in the future. Hopefully you enjoyed it and got something out of it, and let me know down in the comments what you picked up and what you've been reading. But as always, I appreciate you guys that made it to the end of this video. It means the world to me, and I hope that if you're having a bad day, it gets better. If you're having a good day, it becomes fantastic. I'll see you next time.